Hi, I'm Abby. Welcome to my New York City kitchen, where today we're making lentil mushroom stew, which is super delicious with a bunch of pretty basic ingredients here. So first let's talk about them, then we're gonna get cooking. But I wanna turn on my pot. So I'm gonna put my pot here on medium-high heat. I'm gonna let that heat up. Then I've got an onion cut up, some carrot and celery all cut up. Then I've got some sliced mushrooms, since we're doing a mushroom stew. I've got veggie stock, garlic, lentils, because it's a lentil stew also, right? And then I've got rosemary and thyme, which you can also use dried. You would just use a little bit less if you're using dried because it is more potent, but I have fresh thyme and rosemary chopped up here. And if you have the thyme and the stems are very thin and not woody, you can just chop them up directly. You don't need to strip them off the stems. You can throw everything in there together. And then I have some soy sauce, which we'll throw in at some point for a little bit of umami flavor, and it kind of evens out some of the texture and the flavor and adds some depth in there. And then later on, we're gonna add in some chopped parsley and some red wine vinegar, and that acid will help the whole thing pop at the end as well. So it's heated up. You can feel that it's hot in there. I'm gonna put in our olive oil, and we're gonna let that heat up for a second. And then we're gonna take our onion and our celery and our carrot, which is a basic mirepoix, and we're going to saute that together. You can hear, it's great, you can hear that sizzle now. And that celery. Just gonna move these out of the way over here. And then we're gonna give it a stir. All right. Now I'm gonna let that saute for a couple minutes. I'm actually gonna add some salt now because that salt is gonna draw out the water and the moisture and allow it to cook a little bit faster and maybe get a little more caramelized or golden. But I'm just gonna do a little because we're gonna add it again when we do the mushrooms. There we go. All right, so these have sauteed for a few minutes, and then we're gonna add in all our sliced up mushrooms. And we're gonna do more salt and some pepper. And I'm just gonna mix these around a little bit. So mushrooms have a ton of moisture, so we're just gonna continue to saute them. I'll stir them occasionally for about 10 to 15 minutes. We really just want them to start to cook down and get rid of some of that water content. Then we'll move on with the rest of our ingredients. So we'll see you back in a second. All right, so you can see already all of this water has cooked out of those mushrooms, and they have essentially shrunk down in this pot. And that water is cooking off rapidly, which is great. So then we're gonna add in our garlic. We're gonna let that cook for about 30 seconds here. All right, so next we can do something called deglazing. So if you've gotten all of that water and everything out of your mushrooms and your veggies, you might start to get some little brown bits stuck on the bottom of your pan. That happens quite frequently when you're cooking meat and poultry as well. So you put in a little bit of liquid and you deglaze the pan, and that kind of, you can scrape up some of those brown bits, and then you put the rest of the liquid in. So we've got 4 cups of unsalted veggie stock. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in, kind of scrape up some stuff here. And then we'll put in the rest of it. Perfect. Then I'm gonna turn the heat up because we're gonna bring it to a boil. I'm gonna add in our herbs, mix those in. Then we will also add our soy sauce and our cooked lentils go in. All right, so we're just gonna do a couple things. So before the lentils went in, you could bring it to a boil and let it cook down a little bit if you like your stew less liquidy. Or you can do what I just did, was kind of add them all together. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and then kind of simmer it for a little bit. And then we'll add our final 2 ingredients. So we'll see you back here in probably about 5 or 10 minutes for the final stage. All right, so we're still cooking it down a little bit. We're near the end here, and again, the amount of liquid in there is going to be up to you. Do you like it thicker with less liquid, or do you like it a little bit more like a soup with more liquid? So again, it's kind of a guideline, a formula, whatever you like is gonna taste good. So the final components here are some red wine vinegar to go in, and that parsley. And then we will just mix that all together. And then I'm gonna take some bigger spoon here into our bowl. See all of those beautiful lentils, mushrooms, even the carrots and everything are looking nice and beautiful in there. I'm gonna put some of the liquid in. Great. All right, so there you have it. I'm Abby. Thanks for watching my New York City kitchen. This is my lentil mushroom stew. We'll see you next time. Bye.